Nobody tells you this about starting at 40, 50 or beyond. The world tells you it's too late, yet your gut is telling you it's now or never. One of them is lying to you, and you already know which one.
Failure is like everything else in life, it's just between.
Never fail.
I need to know to get to where I want to go.
Welcome, you Feckers. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why starting over later is a significant advantage, the fear that usually stops people, what the second half of your life could look like, and one belief that'll make or break that second chapter. Let's get into today's episode. But as always, if you find value in this, please share it with somebody you know, hit the like button, hit the follow button. It really does support our community. So one of them is lying. The logic brain that says it's too late, that you hear a lot of people saying in life, it's too late, 40, 50, it's now gone past the point where I should change. Or my gut that says I still have time to do something with my life. I still have time to add value to other people's lives. I still have time to become maybe more financially free. Which one of them are lying? Where do we start? Let's start by why a lot of people 40, 50 and beyond have those thoughts. Because quite often you hear that old saying of it's a midlife crisis. I know whenever I started endurance sports at 30, everybody told me, oh, you're having an early midlife crisis. It certainly didn't feel like a midlife crisis. It felt like I was overweight, unhealthy, and I needed to do something with my life. I needed a challenge in my life. Felt like my life had gone a little bit stale after my 20s. And then into my 40s, I suppose, was whenever I started to think more about what my career was. Was I feeling fulfilled? Was I feeling valuable? Was I feeling like I was of service to other people? And the answer was pretty much no to a lot of it. I had to look at my life and I had to look, what do I like about my life? And what do I not like about my life? I also suppose 40, 50 and beyond is also the age where a few people that you know are unfortunately now starting to pass away. Whether that's people that's a few years older than you, or whether it's people which hits even closer to home, people that are around your own age. Anybody that's listened to my story or been following my story, you just will know the impact that Jean, a very close friend of mine's death had on me and my Feck it no more moment. So that may be a reason why other people are having similar midlife crises where they think, okay, time is now starting to tick away fairly fast and I want to enjoy the remainder of my time that I have. Not saying it's definite, but I know that was a big reason for me, and maybe it is a big reason for you. If it is, I'd love to hear it in the comments. But let's jump into why it's actually a significant advantage starting over later in life. Well, I look back at my life, 20, that even goes before that. I look back at my life, 19, meet the woman of my dreams, fall madly in love. By the time we're 21, we have our first child, which wasn't a problem because we knew we were going to spend the rest of our life. It was a shock, but it wasn't a problem. My 20s are very much about creating that family, getting financially secure, making sure we can raise the kids, and that family unit is strong. Putting the family first, doing everything for the family. So that's into my 20s, and into my 30s that's happening. And then your kids get older, they start doing their own thing. They don't want to spend out so much time with you, which is understandably a normal kid, not saying anything. I love spending time with you. I know you have your own lives. I'm lucky. I'm still madly in love with my partner, Louise. Still enjoy spending time together, still enjoy doing things with. And I suppose part of the reason why I wanted to change my life was more flexibility. So we could spend more time together. Because life had been so busy for the last 20 years, raising the kids, working lots, too much looking back with hindsight. And that might have been something that led into why I wanted to change and make a difference in my life. So I had that more time to spend with Louise. We're very lucky now to have a grandchild, Sully, and to spend some time with Sully. And my other kids whenever they're available, Amy, Nicole, Ben. But I wanted that flexibility in my life. I had more time, definitely more financial stable whenever we were in 20, whenever we were starting out with nothing. So finances meant we had to work, we had to do things. The significant advantage I see looking back is now I have more time But just as importantly, I have a little bit of more financial stability in my life. So that financial stability gives me the opportunity to make that change in my life. Now, I don't want people sitting listening in their 20s and their 30s thinking, see, I'm stuck here. I have to get that financial stability. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the advantage for us old people, 40, 50 beyond. We have that financial stability. The advantage you have is that you can take chances, you can take risk, and if things don't work out, you can still get that back because you have time on your side. So it's that financial stability versus that time on your side. But for me, I think that's one of the big things. Other things that I would point to that we have is experience. We have life experience. We know that, okay, I now have the skills to communicate better with people. I now have the resources for the last 20 years of making connections with people. I now have the ability to be more confident than I used to be in my earlier years. So our skills have developed. We know that we can learn new things. We know that we can take on new opportunities. Hopefully, some people get through to their 40s and 50s and they've still got that fixed mindset, but we know they don't like this show, so that's okay. So for me, I see that's where the significant advantage is probably more financially secure by the time we get till our 40s and 50. Hopefully, we have the experience and we have the skills. Now, I know some 40 and 50-year-olds that have had divorces or they've had bad businesses go wrong and financially they're not in a better place. But you still have the skills, you still have the knowledge, you still have that life experience, that resilience to keep going forward whenever things get hard. So you have developed all those things. So I'm not saying the finances is the most important thing, but it's certainly one of the factors. I would love to ask you, what is the one thing you think that stops people at 40 and 50 from going on and making that major change in their life? If you had to name that fear, what would it be? Please leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think that is. For me, I think the fear is very similar with anybody making a change in their life, whether they're 40 and 50 or whether they're 20 and 30. It's that fear of the unknown. What if I look stupid? What if I try this and it doesn't work out? What if it causes me loss or pain? So that's the fear that usually stops people, regardless of their age. So what could the second part of your life actually look like? Because that's important. That's the why for me. Why do I want to change? Why should I make this change? For me, it was more of what it wasn't. So I didn't have this vision in my life of going, this is what I want. I had an outline, but it was very vague. But what I knew for sure is what I didn't want. I didn't want to be working 12 hours a day. I didn't want to be investing all my time and all my energy into building another person's company and just being an employee. I didn't want to be working in an industry that didn't really value people and value people's growth, where it was all about the dollar. It was all about getting more productivity. It was all about making sure that we can achieve things. That didn't align with me. And it certainly wasn't about taking calls at the weekend and dealing with things even whenever you were off in them high stress environments. So I knew what my life didn't look like. So all I had to do was, okay, I want the opposite of that. I want more flexibility. I want to be able to choose what I do. I want to be able to get value from helping other people. I want to be able to build my own company, my own brand that can help people move from where they are to where they want to be. Whether that's through the SPC coaching that we do or whether it's through this Feck It No More podcast. But it leaves that I can pick up this camera and this microphone. I can go into the middle of the bush, strap on a Starlink. Starlink, if you ever think of sponsoring, this remote podcast, please reach out. But where there's internet, I can work from. I can lie on a beach in Bali and I can have my coaching sessions. I can do the things that I enjoy doing from wherever I want. If I want to work to 11, 12 o'clock at night, and sometimes I do, I can do that. And if I want to start at 4 o'clock in the middle of the day, I can also do that. If I want to just take a day off and spend some time with my grandson, which I love doing, I can also do that. So the flexibility was one of the things that I really wanted. So that's what I would encourage people that are sitting there later in life, not quite knowing exactly what they want to do next, I would encourage them to start with, what do you not want? What do you not want the next 20 years to look like? What do you not want the next 40 years? Because we're very lucky. We live in an age now where the average age is above 80, I'm pretty sure. So for 40 and 50, we've another 30 years, which goes fast the older we get. I didn't believe that before, but it's true. It goes really, really quick. But I want to make sure that whether it's 1 year or whether it's 40 or 50 years I have left, that I enjoy, I'm happy, I'm content, and I'm adding value to people. And I'm getting to spend time with people I enjoy spending time with. That's what my life looks like in the future. So that was my reason to make the change. There is one thing that stops people and has stopped me in the past before from making that change. Do you want to hazard a guess what that is? It's belief. People don't believe they can create the life that they want to create. We've been told, we've been convinced that you have to stay in a job, you have to work for a company. If you work for the company 30, 40, 50 years, you're rewarded. We're conditioned to believe that way. And I'm here to tell you that while there's value in working with the same company for a long period of time, if you enjoy the work and you love every moment and they're treating you well and they're paying you very well, there's good value in that. However, that company can be a unicorn and very hard to find. I'm not telling everybody they have to quit their jobs and they have to go and do something different by any stretch of the imagination. However, if you're out there and you're listening and you feel like, I'd like to do something different, I'd like to try something else, I'm talking to you right now. Believe that you can make things happen. You've heard me say this before, or maybe you haven't on the podcast, but certainly my clients would have heard me say this that I do the one-on-one coaching with. Belief is the most important part. Once I believe that something can happen, I can make it happen. If I don't believe that it's gonna actually happen, I'm not gonna put the time, I'm not gonna put the energy in, and I'm always gonna have them negative stories telling me that you're not good enough, you're not capable enough, you'll never do it. So it has to start with belief. Once you get that belief, it's easy. Now some people will be sitting there listening going, Glenn, I don't believe I can. What do I do in that circumstance? You look at other people that have done it. Analyze what they did. What worked for them? How did they make it successful? And there's loads of people out there. I've had some on the podcast. I'll have more in the future. Little 10-minute Google, a little bit of research into how did this person change their life from here to there. Because the way our mind works is once we know that somebody can do something and we've seen it done, we can do it. In my coaching sessions, I often use the Roger Bannister example. Now, some people might be going, who the hell is Roger Bannister? Roger Bannister was the first person to break the 4-minute mile, a time that had stood for all eternity. Nobody had ever broke it before. People said it was impossible. Your heart would explode. You'll die trying. No human is capable of this. But Roger Bannister believed. He was like, no, I think I can beat this 4-minute mile thing. I think I can break that time. He wasn't capable of it there and then. That's where the belief come in. He believed he could. And the crazy thing that happened once Roger Bannister broke that time, numerous other people started to break that time. I think it was something like within the first 6 months, another person had broke it. By the end of the year, there was like 10 people or 15 people that broke it. And now it's a time that people regularly break. And science shows that that came from belief. So if you don't have belief that you can do something, you'll never do it. But if you do have the belief that you can make the lasting change, you will. And I encourage you, if you don't have the belief, start figuring out how you get the belief. Talk to somebody that has done it. Talk to people that will help you get that belief, that'll find that belief, that'll instill that belief in you. But don't just sit there and go, I can't do it. Because that belief will determine the quality of the second half of your life. And I hope you have an amazing second part of your life. I know I plan to. As always, if this hit home, follow Feck No More wherever you listen. Share this episode with somebody who might need to hear it right now at this moment. And thanks for all the support. Until the next time. And now for the legal part. I'm not a registered mental health professional. I'm just some guy who has gone through life, that's dealt with a lot of issues, and that has really wanted to move his life from where it was to where he wanted to go. And along that journey, with my own personal development, with my own growth, I've done a lot of research and studying into what it takes to get us to a better place, what it took to get me to a better place. I've also done a certificate in results coaching that qualifies me to coach other people in terms of improving their lives. But I want to stress, regardless of whether you go to a mental health professional or whether you go and talk to a friend down the road or whether you reach out to the Feck No More team, the onus is definitely on you to help improve your life. And I want to thank you for showing up today, for listening, for getting involved. That shows that you care about your growth and your development and getting you to a better place. And I really appreciate the time that you have taken to reach out. So until the next time, I'll be waiting. I'll be available to help, support, as I know majority of our community will be too. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for you showing up.